this obstacle. Oh my God, not a road or a trail. Motorized vehicle travel prohibited, foot travel welcome. When did they do this? All right, here with Mitchell, and I think Bill's right behind me. We've got my JL, Bill's XJ with dual cases and a cage and a bunch of other cool stuff we did to it in the past couple years. And we're gonna go run Sourgrass Jeep Trail. It's a pretty easy Jeep trail. You could probably run it with like 31s if you really wanted to. I haven't ran it in like 8 years, but it sounded like fun today, so we're doing it. Sourgrass Trail, I guess it's 5N02R. Didn't know that was the name. Super easy, fun trail. We got 2 rigs going in today, having a lot of fun. There's Mitch. Some bathrooms at staging. You can't overnight park here. It's just the day use parking, so like no tow rig parking here, but it's a super easy trail. Ready to roll?
Yeah.
Ready to hit boards?
Yep.
Sourgrass. Yeah, you're definitely gonna hit traffic on the trail. It's a very easy trail, very well known. And you'll definitely see a lot of people out here.
There's a 7 coming down.
That was pretty cool. Just saw 7 6th-gen Broncos. I think almost all of them, if not all of them, were from the Gold Country Broncos page. So I always like to stop and say hi to those guys. I love the 6th-gen Broncos. I don't know what everyone else thinks. I mean, I've seen the issues they have, but I think for overall an IFS rig with lockers, they seem pretty legit. Ooh, there's a fun section. So once you get through the first couple obstacles, which is like 2 kind of granite, what do you call, they're not really rock gardens. So yeah, once you get through the first couple of obstacles, it's pretty mellow up until the water crossing. And then from there, I remember there's like a rock garden, but for right now, it's pretty mellow. Just kind of looking through and watching Bill, what he's doing. Let's see. So yeah, you can pop it into 2-wheel drive for these in-between sections. Pretty mellow. Tell you one thing that's nice is having air conditioning in this vehicle versus my Cherokee. It is really hot today. Wow. You know, the one thing I'm not used to is the JL. I haven't wheeled it even a fraction of all the 20 years plus of wheeling Cherokees that are kind of built up. And this thing just seems way softer. It lifts tires more. I don't know if it's just because it has short arms. Got drop brackets with the short arms. One thing that's cool is you have a fork of the Stanislaus River paralleling the trail the whole way through, basically. There's like a little dip right here. And then you just kind of drop down. You know you're getting closer to the water crossing once you've hit this dip. It's nothing difficult or anything. All right, so the water crossing in the trail is right around the corner. Yeah, I want to maybe even get a little close-up video of you shifting the front case into double low before you drop in.
Okay.
This obstacle at the water crossing got way more difficult than it was for the last, like, I don't know, I haven't ran this trail in like 7 years, but for, you know, we've run this trail for about 20 years. And this used to be a little bit tough, like right there, little tree root dugout. This thing, it's because of this right here, grabbing rear axle tube, no matter what we do. I went up, trying to go up driver on this. This thing's a big problem. It's almost like you need to go, because of the hole on the other side, this big hole you kind of fall in, or if you fall off to the right like I did, you're just hitting tubes. So you need to stay on top of this, which means possibly going up on that. You could also try to swing out wider right here and try to put driver on right here and maybe try to hit it more like this. I think that's the way. We had to do some spotting right there, and rear control arm mount hanging so low off the axle tube was like buried into a really nice diff hanger style rock. Yeah, there was no way of getting out of that. We had to back off it. I couldn't resituate because it was just going to keep getting buried, so it was like, oh, there you go. Nothing. you got a big old, it's a big old diff hanger right there. That guy's grabbing rear diff all day long, or rear tube. I am still learning how wide, long, and low this is by feel. I'm used to driving the Cherokee by just seeing my lines. But yeah, that's a pretty good diff hanger right there. Yeah, it ain't staying on that line. Damn, dude, it's so weird. Dude, this thing, it's so drastically different the way it handles and the way it wheels compared to the crawler. So this is the rock garden after the water crossing. The only trivial part is this is a pretty good diff hanger or rear control arm bracket grabber. My Cherokee, everything's flush with the tubes. This has those shock mounts and control arm mounts that hang super low, and those keep getting hung up on everything on this trail. And I'm putting tires high. I just keep falling off. I'm a little wide. Used to 60 on the Cherokee or 67 on the crawler. And being that extra 7 inches wider, I'm falling off lines on the wrong side and grabbing rear tube or rear control arm mount. So this trail has definitely gotten harder than I remember running it 7 years ago, and like 20 years ago. This was a trail that we would literally bring like stock rigs on. I mean, like stock 4Runners, stock Nissan pickup, like nothing crazy. That water crossing is so dug out now, and a lot of the rocks that used to just have like a couple inches of the rock exposed or now have like a wall exposed. And I feel like that's probably all happened in the last 7 years since we ran it last. And you know, I used to rate this trail as like stalker friendly, but with that setup, I would want no less than like 33s and sliders and like a locker ideally. Like ideally, I mean 2 wouldn't hurt, but you know, and don't be afraid to get strapped or pull winch line if you can't make that, because he's got a doubler. Bill in front of me, he's got a doubler with lockers front and rear and 33s. I mean, he got up it pretty easily. He had to resituate though. He did get hung up at first on that rear diff rock, and then backed up and realigned and got up it. But he's, you know, he was in double low dual lockers. You know, I'm on 37s. I'm on 37s, and that rear passenger control arm kept hanging up. I kept sliding. I kept backing up and realigning in that one rock face. I kept sliding off to the right no matter how far I went driver, and trying to avoid that. So yeah, I wouldn't call this trail stalker friendly anymore. Once you get through the water crossing and the little rock garden after the crossing, I just remember it being pretty easy all the way to the campsites in the back. But I would be prepared to work a little bit hard on that water crossing if you're not locked up with at least 33s, to be honest. And you could tell that someone had stacked it pretty good at one point. A lot of the rocks were kicked out, but you could tell it was like super stacked, maybe even earlier in the day, possibly. It's hard to say. Worked it. Okay, so the trail always kept going after this. The trail actually normally goes for a long time. Holy shit, they blocked this off. There's no way. Did someone... Oh my God. Not a road or a trail. Motorized vehicle travel prohibited, foot travel welcome. When did they do this? So this trail... Holy dude. What? So this was always a Jeep trail. I don't know when they did that, unless someone put those there. So the trail always went through here. I mean, you can kind of even tell there's even tire tracks right here. And this trail, I mean, I feel like it goes for Used to always go for quite a bit. like this is really weird. It just kept going, and there was some rad camp spots further down on the river. I mean, it's been 7 years, but I have never heard they literally cut a mile out of the trail. A mile in each direction, for that matter. Like some wheel. So I was thinking maybe just some dudes were screwing around and stuck this in the road, but look at that. That one's like sunk into the ground pretty good, and there's more of them back here. Dude, this is crazy. This used to be, I want to say this used to be almost the halfway point of the trail. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, I remember thinking we still had a long way to go when we camped here in the past. And there's a ton of camp spots on the river down there. So I don't know what happened. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wheel back out a little bit and go back through the water crossing, and we're gonna camp on the other side of the river. So we ran the whole thing, I guess. They shortened it up quite a bit, and then we figured we're heading out in the morning anyways. We'll already be through the crossing and the rock garden, which, you know, most Saturdays this trail's gonna get a bunch of clubs from like the Bay Area to come run it, and it's gonna turn into like a, you know, there's gonna be a lot of trail blockage, trail tampons near the water crossing, because it is tough, and like that's just a fact. And so we were thinking, well, ooh, there's some trash. I'm gonna go pick up some trash. Water bottle, who does that? Be back. Yeah, this is like the first time I've heard of this trail having a big part of the trail closed, and it's also like the first time I've ever had to like wheel back out to go find, you know, once again, we don't have to find camping. We could have stayed there. Cool. Go, little passenger. No passenger. You're good, you're good. Are you in double low? Are you in double low? Why not? That's where you need it. God damn it. Well, so the one good thing about the crossing is if you struggled going up it, it's a lot easier going down, but you're still gonna scrape. You're just gonna have gravity helping you. That's pretty much normal on any Jeep trail. If you can get up something, usually going down it's easier. Put it in first gear and just let it creep. So we're camping here tonight. I've never camped at this spot. It's not a great camp spot, but you know, the other spots weren't great either anymore. Got all the gear, not too much stuff. Little propane fire pit since no fires are allowed right now. Got everything else we need. Cooler. Between the two granite rock gardens, there is just this little short section of tree cover. They're both towards the beginning of the trail too, right at the beginning. Are you in single low or double low?
Single.
Okay. It's definitely a fun section. You can kind of snake around this left side for the easy route, right? It's a little bit tougher, but not super hard. Definitely a cool little rock garden granite section. So yeah, there's enough of a challenge on this trail to have a good time if you're experienced and overbuilt. If you're inexperienced and you're just trying to get into wheeling, I always recommend Sourgrass, or what we call Boards Crossing Trail, to like a first timer before they hit anything else, just to kind of learn the basic limits of their vehicle. You'll kind of, if you're getting hung up on this trail and certain things are grabbing and scraping on this trail, you might want to go back and maybe change a few things on your rig, or if you're struggling hardcore on this trail and you don't have lockers or something, or you're running, maybe your tire size is a little too small for your rig. It's a good beginner starter trail to give you an idea of what your rig's capable of and get you some seat time. Seat time is like super important. Never recommend for your first trail to be the Rubicon. Always always would recommend running some much easier trails and kind of build your way up to that. Thanks for following along this week. We'll see y'all next time. If you can, please like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate all the subscribers that we have on this channel so far. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. Really trying to get there and then just keep growing. So yeah, tell your friends, share it out. Thank you again. Thanks for following us along on this easy trail. Highly recommended for first timers, beginners, or if you just want to run a quick easy trail for a day run or one nighter. It's a great place. It's pretty scenic, pretty trail, pretty close to the Sacramento Bay Area, all that stuff, not too far away. It's lower elevation too. The only downside with this trail is that like this time of the year, there's no fires allowed. So you got to bring a propane fire pit. They already have fire restrictions down here at this elevation. You can put them all to like 28 to 30 and it's probably good. This is super random. This is on the bathroom. I love Boston Terrier. Is that a Boston or a Frenchie? The best of boys. I love Bostons. No idea what that's about. Pretty cool.